never could get things done because there were obstacles always standing in the way. And one of those obstacles was our differences in the relationship. So everything happens for a reason. I was told that a lot in my life as well, that everything happens for a reason. Maybe those things happen for a reason to kind of wake me up, because maybe I wasn't living up to the potential that I had. I always say to myself, man, why did it take me 42 years? I'm happy that I'm here at this point, enlightened the way that I am, full of the knowledge and the wisdom and the understanding and the information that I have acquired over the years. So I'm happy. I'm grateful. I'm not gonna complain about it. Complaining doesn't get you anywhere. Crying doesn't get you anywhere. It's a release. It's good to cry, even if you're a grown man. It's good to cry because it gets the release off, the emotional release, the stress. But does it solve the problem? No, it doesn't. It doesn't solve the problem. The only thing that solves the problem is a solution, a well thought out, educated solution. And so everything happens for a reason. So maybe all of that struggle and all that suffering kind of brought me to a point that led me to evaluate my life and rethink it and start to think about the potentials that I had and the potentials that I still have. In fact, even though things kind of went the more harder route, it gave me the knowledge that I have today, that I possess today, to be able to move forward and not make those mistakes again. And maybe that was the gym in it. Maybe that was the gym in the whole situation. Maybe the gym in the whole situation was all of that suffering. Kind of, you know how they say you put pressure on a rock to create a diamond, or coal, or whatever that is that a diamond is actually made out of. You put pressure on it. That's what pressure is. What creates a diamond. Maybe that pressure that was put on me created a diamond. And of course, this is no slap on my own back or anything like that. I'm not patting myself on the back or giving myself, because I'm not an arrogant or conceited guy. I'm modest. But I am. Some people say that I'm modest to a fault, that I don't take enough credit for the things that I should be taking credit for. When I do something for someone, I do it for the sake of doing it. I don't do it for the sake of getting something back. If I get something back, that's a blessing. If I don't, it's still a blessing, because I did it for a reason outside of trying to get a blessing. The reason I did it was because someone else needed a blessing. Someone else needed the help. Help. If you're going to help someone because you want to help them. Don't help them because it's going to get you something back. Because what if you don't get anything back? Would you take back the gift that you gave to someone else? Right? I don't think that's a good thing to do. So anyway, I'm 42 years old, and it took me 42 years to get to this stage in my life, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. And I'm happy that I'm here. It's just, it kind of makes me a little bit frustrated. I get discouraged and disappointed, because I had the potential to be what I am now a lot earlier in my life. And if I had have known then what I know now, and I know a lot of people say that that's so cliche, but at the end of the day, it's true. If I had have known then what I know now, I would have never made the mistakes that I would have made. But if I hadn't have made those mistakes, see, that's the paradox in the whole situation. If I hadn't have made those mistakes, would I be where I am today? So therefore, God, it's the only thing that I could do is look up and say the universal source of all life in the universe plan my life out to be this way, in order for me to learn certain things, so I can move in a certain way, so I could live my life in a certain way, so I could discover certain things about myself at certain periods of time in my life, which would only point the finger back up to God. That only God could be able to architect a situation like this. That only God could be able to create these instances and these events and these circumstances in my life to bring glory to himself and not myself, because I couldn't think my way out of a paper bag. Only God did that. Only God gave me the inspiration and gave the people that Only God gave me the inspiration to find the solutions to the problems in my life. And if I couldn't find them, God gave the inspiration to somebody else to come along to let me know what the solutions were to my life. And a lot of people were telling me throughout these years, you know, Andrew, the answer lies within you. These struggles that you're going through with this woman, with these kids, with these people, with your friends, with your past associates, your business associates, your music partners, all of these struggles that you're going through, the answer lies within you. All you have to do is pray about it and ask God for the wisdom and understanding to know what all this is about. So even though I'm frustrated that it took me 42 years, I'm still here. And that's the blessing about it all. That I'm still here. Be blessed, be grateful for that. Be appreciative for that you're still here and you're not dead, because a lot of people your age, let's just be a little bit more dramatic with it. A lot of people your age didn't get to be your age. Let me put that in a way that makes a little bit more sense. You're not supposed to be here, right? People from your environment that went through situations like this, they're either dead or locked up for the rest of their life. So be appreciative and be grateful that you didn't go through that, because you could be dead. These lessons that you learned left you alive. Some people that learned these lessons learned the ultimate lesson. It caused them the rest of their life. It caused them their life. And you're here at 42 years old, you know? So that means that God loves you, has to love you. Because if God did not love you, you wouldn't be here. Those lessons would have took your life a long time ago. So maybe your mission in life is to take your testimony and tell it to somebody else. This is what the Truth Be Told vlog really is about. The whole meaning to this series is to tell the truth about my life in my own words. And I said that when I first started it. It's to tell the truth tell the truth. That way other people could give you their perception, but they can't give you my perception. They're giving you perception from the outside looking in. They dealt with me, but they're not me. So they can't give you what's in here, the intent in my heart. They can't give you that. They can give you their opinion about what they saw of me or what they knew of me or what they heard of me, but they can't give you me. Only person that can give you me is me. And the only other person that can give you a better perception of me is God. And God is putting it in inspiring me to give you the perception that he wants you to see from me. That is the whole meaning to this series. So as I said before, this one is the Truth Be Told vlog. Forgive to forget. This is the conclusion of it. Forgive to forget. Forgiveness is a gift. Forgiveness is something that, from what I've learned from pastors and from other individuals, forgiveness is a gift. Forgiveness is, I could give you this, I could give you my ability to not retaliate on you and give you what you gave me. You know, an eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth. I could do the eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth. And when I do something like that, I will be repaying you for what you did to me. I could do it like that, but then only thing that will get is someone else doing to me what I did to you, and then someone doing to them what they did to me, and then someone doing to them what they did to them. You know, the only thing you're gonna get from that is the Hatfields and McCoys, which is perpetual war, over and over and over again. And the only thing that you get from perpetual war is the death of human civilization completely. And then you have God saying you failed. To us all. You have the grand architect looking down at all of us and saying on Judgment Day, you all failed. Because all you had to do was, in this little time frame, in this event right here, this small event that changed everyone's lives, the only thing that you had to do was give the gift of forgiveness and let karma. Karma is the concept of what you put out, you get back. But you get it back from the grand architect, not from human beings. A human being may carry it out, but they may carry it out unknowingly. Forgiveness is a gift. I can repay you back. I could have, all of these things that I went through with this woman, all of these things that I went through with my associates, with my friends, the people that I considered my friends, my associates, business partners, music artists, blah, blah, blah. I could have gave back to them what they gave to me. But all I would have did was continue the strife going. And that's not something that I wanted to do. That's not really the end result that I wanted. So I gave the gift of forgiveness in order for me to forget. Not really forget, because it always stays in your memory bank. Any experience that you go through when we pass away and we leave this body here on this earth, our soul, which means our thoughts, our memories, our intents, our character, our personality, is all locked in this computer chip right here. That's all this thing is, this brain is a computer chip. And it keeps and stores all of the data of your life inside of it. That's your soul, because that's something that lives yet is not seen unless it's manifest through the physical. I don't want to get metaphysical right now because that might be a little bit too high for people to understand that concept. I don't even understand it sometimes myself. But in layman's terms, everything that I've gone through with these individuals, I could have easily paid them back in spades. But instead of doing that, I forgave them in order for me to temporarily be able to forget it so I can move on. Because if I constantly think about it and meditate on it and ponder on it all day long, all it's going to do is fester. And that festering is going to just bring more violent thoughts in my head and more violent. I'm just going to want to do something to that individual because I'm constantly dwelling on it all the time. And if I dwell on it long enough, it's gonna eventually manifest itself into reality, into my reality. And if I don't want it to manifest into my reality, then you know what? Let me just forget about it. And the only way to forget about it is to say, you know what? It happened. It's done and over with. You will have to learn from your mistakes later on, but I'm not going to be the one to inflict any judgment upon you. That's going to have to be the grand architect, the universal source of all life. He will have to show you through life, through your own life. But I won't do that because I don't want this to block my path. You know, if I create this situation or circumstance, this discrepancy between you and I, this strife between you and I, then I have to constantly dwell on that, and I have to focus on that, and I have to concentrate on that, and that's not something that I want to do. I want to keep going forward. So you know what? In order to keep going forward, I forgive you, brother. I forgive you, sister. Here, take this gift, and I'm gone. You know, it's like a rain check. Effectively, is what it is, a spiritual rain check. Here's this rain check. We'll get back to this, but not right now. Right now, I have something I need to do. Take this rain check. We'll get back to this argument later. Hopefully we won't have to, because hopefully down the line you'll realize yourself, you know, what you should and shouldn't have done. Just like I would have to if it was me, because I'm not perfect. There's a lot of rain checks. I know people are holding rain checks right now saying, hey, brother, we ready to cash in on these rain checks. But then again, that's still up to the universal source to say that's not a rain check, because he learned something. So let me get that rain check from you, is what the universal source will be saying. Let me get that rain check from you. He already cashed in on that with someone else. It's not your place to be the hand of karma. I decide that. This is what the universal source would be saying. So, if the truth be told, I left Chicago, Illinois, my birthplace, where I grew up at. For 40-something years of my life, I lived there and dealt with everybody that crossed my path there. And I learned after a certain period of time that wasn't the environment for me. And I went to Indiana, and I started off in Whiting, Indiana, and then I went to Warsaw, Indiana, and I lost my kids, and then I went to Columbus, Indiana, and I became an official Republican. a registered Republican in Indiana, Columbus, Indiana, the birthplace and the hometown of Mike Pence, Vice President Mike Pence. And I learned a lot there. Throughout that time, I read things. I studied things. I researched things. People told me things. I had experiences with people, female and male. I realized some things. I researched some not research, but I evaluated some things. I analyzed some things about my life. I dropped off some of the bad behaviors that I had. I dropped off behaviors that were non-productive. I picked up behaviors that were productive. I saw examples and I used those examples, and I learned those examples so I wouldn't have to go through it myself. I heard stories. I told stories. I shared stories. People shared stories with me. And now, as I stand here in Washington, D.C., a place that I only used to see in an encyclopedia, and never would dream that I would be here myself. I used to watch videos, Black History Month at school, about Dr. King marching on Washington, right? At that big old statue of Abraham Lincoln. And I used to say to myself, man, wouldn't it be something to be there? And I'm actually here by myself. These places I traveled to, nobody gave me the money to go do this. Here's this plane ticket. Here's this bus ticket. I did this myself on the inspiration that God told me and led me, said, this is where I want you to go. This is what I feel that the universal source told me. Through inspiration, through something tugging at my heart saying, go here. There's a reason I want you there, either to learn something or to teach someone else. But as I stand here on the steps of the District of Columbia Court of Appeals, as I stand here at the base of that, I'm saying to myself, it is time to move to the next level. It is time to grow again, yet again. It is time to put those things in the past, forgive those individuals, and forget about it temporarily so you can move on, because there's something else that you need to be doing. And it doesn't have any connection or association to what you were doing back then. It does, only in the sense that what you went through back there was a stepping stone to you being where you are today, but not for you to carry that with you. Drop that and leave that where it needs to be. So this is me officially saying that I'm completely wiping that from the record. Not yet. Not completely wiping it from the record, but setting it to the side on the road. Let's set this to the side. It's too heavy to carry. Let's set that to the side, because where we going, there's going to be enough heavy weight. And so that's that. Now that that's over with, now we move to something else. So, to all the youngins out there that may be watching this, may not be watching this, may be hearing it, may not be hearing it, understand this. Life is tough. Life is rough. You're not promised anything. That's the one thing that I learned. There was a drug counselor that I went to. I used to be part of this drug program when I was locked up in prison. And she told me, she said, you know what? You need to learn right now. And I really didn't do anything for her to really say this to me. I wasn't belligerent toward her or disrespectful toward her or anything. But I guess she saw that I was just, for lack of a better term, soft. And I guess she told me, she just, you know what? The world don't owe you nothing, Andrew. You walk around here like the world owes you something, and the world don't owe you jack. You're not promised nothing. You're not even promised tomorrow. You're not promised the next breath that you're gonna take. You need to learn to be humble. You need to learn humility. You need to learn that the world doesn't revolve around you. And once you learn that, then the world will open itself up to you, and you'll reach the level of success that you wish to have. That was a hard pill to swallow at that time. That was a hard red pill to swallow. And my name wasn't Neo. My name's Andrew. And that wasn't Morpheus sitting right there. Or was it? Was it Morpheus telling me that? Maybe I was Morpheus in another form telling me, hey, listen, take this red pill and swallow that. It's going to be hard to swallow, bro. But at the end of the day, you're going to have to learn that this thing is not centered around you. It's centered around everyone. And each and every person has their part to play. And just because someone does you wrong doesn't mean that you're the only one suffering. People get done wrong all the time. As I speak to you right now, somebody is being played out. Somebody is being abused. Someone is being taken advantage of. Someone is being oppressed. Someone is being suppressed. Somebody's voice is not being heard. Some child is being abused sexually, physically, emotionally. Some woman is being told that she'll never be nothing. Some black man is being called a nigger. Some white man is being called a hunky, a cracker. Right now, some young dude is being told by some old guy, you'll never make it to 21. Right now, some young guy is telling some old dude, you a piece of shit, you're a piece of crap and you don't amount to nothing. You're not worth nothing to me. You're just some old fogey that needs to just die already. Does that mean just because these things are going on that life stops? No. If anything, that is the motivation that you use to push forward. So if the truth be told, everything that happened to me back then is what inspires me to move on today. That's everything back then made me the person that I am talking to you today. And I'm not done. I'm just a work in progress. Right? 10 years from now, hopefully, inshallah, 10 years from now, God willing, I'll look back now and look at these videos and say, damn, you were quite ignorant back then. You were quite ignorant back then. You know nothing. You knew nothing back then. Now you know a lot more. Look who you became. That's what life is. It's a constant, gradual step towards perfection, in which most of us won't reach it here on this physical plane. That's not supposed to discourage you. That should motivate you, because it motivates me. So therefore, peace and love to everyone out there. No love lost to those who have hurt me in the past. That doesn't mean that I have to be around you. That doesn't mean that I have to be associated with you. That doesn't mean that you're in my social circle. That just means that right now, at this present time, it's not for me and you to continue to argue and beef and have conflict over something so minute, something so petty, something so small. In the bigger picture, in the grand scheme of things, it is very minute. Because there's something else that I need to be doing. So take this rain check and you stay right there. I'll be right back. I have things to do. But if you were smart, you would take that rain check, throw it to the side and say, I have things to do myself. Right? If everybody's constantly moving forward, how can anybody be moving backwards? Right? So, this is a conclusion to the Truth Be Told vlog. Forgive to forget. I have forgiven you people. I hope that you guys forgive me for any infraction that I've caused towards you. Don't blame it on my heart, blame it on my mind. Maybe I just wasn't smart enough. Maybe I wasn't educated enough. Maybe I was just living in ignorance. But that doesn't mean that I meant destruction towards you or didn't mean well towards you. Peace and love. And more love, less hate. I'll see you guys on the next installment. If there is a next installment, inshallah. I wish you all well. God bless.